and it will analyze and give you feedback on all the hands you played. So now we're going to find out, guys, how GTO is the Wakko really? Pay attention, guys, we have currently opened up a limited amount of spots for free one-on-one coaching with me and Adam for the people who now join the Mechanics of Poker program. So are you ready to improve your game? Go over to the site and sign up to the Mechanics of Poker program. We have found ourselves lucky as we spot a rare sighting. It's the Wakko in his natural habitat. He's sleeping, waiting for another day of hunting. He needs always strength for what's to come.
Very good morning, everyone, to this first episode of Life, the Wakko. We could maybe do something with the title. This is the place where it all starts off, the place where the magic happens. And as always in the morning, the first thing we have to do is figure out if maybe we'll get lucky. Will we get lucky? Okay. No luck today, guys, no luck today. Let's save it for the poker tables. So in this video, I wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed of what has been going on in my life, poker ambition, grinding, content creation, coaching, courses, etc, etc. Decided to start this vlog right after I woke up. Apparently that's a thing now.
Yo, good morning. Yo.
And I'll just take you guys through the day today. First, let's have some breakfast, let out the dog, and then the day can start. So I actually intended to do a couple of more drone shots, but unfortunately it is GG drone. So I hope the ones that are in it were much appreciated. So it's been a little bit over a half year now since that we opened up Poker Ambition to the public, and that I blew off the dust of my poker skills and returned back to the 500 NL Zoom tables. Now the main goal we had in the beginning when we started to play poker again was to gather as much information as possible about our current game. Now what this tends to do is it puts you in a bit more of an observer mode while playing, making you less experience the emotions. So let's say, for example, I make a certain mistake. I might be like, interesting. This is a mistake I apparently make, so this is new information that I can use to become a better poker player in the future. It's way different than you just sit down, you make the mistake, and you let go like, oh shit, why do I make this mistake, blah, blah, blah. You're way more emotional involved, so it creates some distance. Another thing that's very important is to manage your expectations. Since I hadn't played consistently for over 2 years, I had to align my expectations according to that. So not the Wakko, the ego, the high stakes boss comes back to play and is gonna crush everyone, but no, Wakko hasn't played in a little while, let's see what comes up. Don't create any weird expectations that I'm just gonna sit down and that my old game returns and that I will just crush everyone. If you do have that expectation and you sit down and the reality shows you something different, this is the root cause of frustration. So expectation management and seeing the reality as is super important in not tilting, and people have been mentioning this. Wow, Wakko, it seems like you never tilt, and that is indeed correct, and this is kind of, these two things are kind of the secret. And another thing I noticed was actually because of Twitch. I want to start by giving up a little shout out to the Twitchers, because twitching brings with it a whole another set of kind of mental game and performance issues. I kind of compare twitching to stripping down naked at a stage. You walk up a stage, you take off your clothes, you open your legs and say, listen guys, this is it, judge me for who I am. You're putting yourself in a really vulnerable place, open for anyone to judge you. Now, also before twitching, I also thought about this and how I would respond to that. And you also notice that your ego comes around the corner. It's really interesting to see. But yeah, this also means that you are multitasking. You're playing and you're managing the chat and playing a couple of cool clips along the way. So let's say, for example, normally you have 100% of your brain capacity ready to make a decision. It's now maybe only 75% because you have other things to think about. So usually these are things that will not lead to better decision making. Another thing that I noticed was maybe a little bit paranoia thoughts, especially when it came down to not following through on a bluff that is maybe a GTO bluff, or not hero calling or hero folding a hand that in GTO is, for example, always a call. These were things that I was a little bit more skeptic about in the beginning and would get a little bit more paranoid. Chicken song for the Wakko. And now the thing that everyone is curious about, Wakko, how did you actually do in your 500NL Zoom journey? And I'm gonna repeat it again, I'm not really a big fan of results. People usually go to results to get some sort of confirmation about how they have been doing. While this is completely not accurate, you need a very big sample for your results to actually give a good reflection of how well you played. It's way better to look at certain tendencies. Like I said, I gathered certain information in the beginning. Out of that came certain session goals. Like, for example, I was a bit too big of a station in certain areas and was maybe trying a little bit too hard to win certain pots. And I was trying to kind of tone that down in certain areas in my game. This is something that I've been tracking, which I know will lead to better results. And a big problem with result is if you associate a good session with you being a good player and a bad session with you being a bad player, this will lead to a lot of fluctuations in your confidence. In the end, if you have stable confidence, you will perform more consistently. And in the end, consistency is key. So take control over your confidence and start to let go of results dollar-wise and start to track other things in your game that will lead you to make more money at the tables. Please, please. Yeah, Wakko, you're only saying that because you're losing. No, that's not the case. So these are my actual Zoom results since I started playing. And as you can see, we're winning a little bit over around 2BB-ish. I remember in the beginning, I think like the first 30k hands we were down. And I ran some quick filters in estimating the variance, and for example what I saw is that with my premium holdings I was winning only half of what I could be winning. Same with big pots, my win rate was definitely lacking. So in general, if you can do anything right, but if with premium holdings things are not really going your way, either you don't build big pots against worse hands or you only build big pots against better hands, which kind of was happening in that sample in my game, yeah, you're not going to win, guys. In the end, you know, queens, kings, aces, ace, king, they make you quite a big part of your money. And in around February, March, we also launched our new coaching program, The Mechanics of Poker. Now, we have been working on that program for almost a year and we're very happy with how it turned out. We're getting amazing responses of guys who went through the program, and you can really see their philosophy and the way they look at the game starting to change, with which they're making more progress in their poker careers. We've also released our first masterclass, which was on 3-bet pots out of position, currently finishing up small blind unopened. And basically this is the most in-depth dive into a spot that you will ever see. Back to poker. At some point we left the 500NL Zoom streets to play more 5-10 and 10-20. This is the moment where we could put our gathered information that we try to implement into our games to the test on a little bit tougher opponents. This was also the time that I kind of started to play a little bit more off stream and started to take my grind a little bit more serious. And with that actually came a couple of interesting things. When I wasn't playing on stream, I would maybe be a little bit too serious. I know it's weird, but true. I was like, okay, now we're not streaming, so now I'm really gonna pay attention. Now I'm really gonna play good. And what then kind of happens is you put a little bit too much pressure on your performance. And actually, I saw Bill Lewinsky on our CFP group. He actually posted an interesting article which showed that if athletes were told to perform at 100%, they were actually performing less than if they told the athletes to perform only at 80%. Basically, your ideal performance mindset is a little bit more relaxed. Whereas if you really want to 100% do the correct plays, you're actually only setting yourself up for failure because you're putting way too much pressure on your shoulders and you're going to be way too tensed. Okay, you cannot really perform freely. So a little bit of a free tip for you guys. Also, since now it was getting a little bit more competitive and my competitive drive would come up, there were a lot of things that I wanted to be doing to perform better or to prepare better for playing in these games that I didn't really have the time to do because there's still a lot of things around it that I had to take care of. Whereas in the past it was just, listen, I have one mission, that's to become the best poker player possible, and this is what I'm gonna dedicate all my time to. Every day, for example, was exactly the same. I didn't have to think about my days. Now I noticed, okay, there's too much things going on, so I actually had to schedule better what I was gonna do in which day. Because in the end, guys, you can reach anything, but you cannot do everything. Okay, this is a quote that always sticks with my head when I try, because I often fall for this. I try to do everything and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so when I do something I try to do it good, and when you want to do something good you have to put a lot of time in that, and that usually means spending less time on the other things. So I notice myself sometimes going a little bit too much towards Poker Ambition, too much towards own poker career, and then kind of, if one part was excelling, like for example Poker Ambition was doing well or poker was doing well, then the other part would be missing out, and I would kind of be like, oh shit, but I also want to do this. So this is actually going to be a constant juggle for me, and it's really trying to find peace and again aligning the expectation in that your performance is gonna suffer a little bit because you're not going 100% for one thing. And this is maybe also a part where maybe like some external pressure comes in, or at least pressure that I put in my head, because people want to see you be the best poker player, but people also want to see you be the best coach, make the best content, be the best Twitcher, the best. Well, the truth is you cannot really be the best in everything. You can strive to do your best, but the fact is that if you would dedicate all your time to one goal, you would excel way further in that goal than if you would be dividing your attention. But don't get me wrong, I'm very happy where things are going, making very good progress in all areas of life. Definitely notice also that my game is going in the right direction. Every month I feel like I really started to play better. For the result-oriented people, I will share my results right now. As you can see, we're winning over a little bit more than 3BB100. And very important, guys, as you can see, I chose very wisely on which stake to run good. It's a very, very, very important skill. So what now? What can we expect from Poker Ambition, from TheWakko, from these vlogs? Well, Poker Ambition is about to launch its academy, in which you will be receiving weekly seminars. In general, we're trying to create our portfolio in a way that we will be adding value to any level of poker player. Starting off with, for example, Twitch, YouTube, obviously a great place to start, and for beginning players. Then the next step would be the academy, where you can really grow as a player. Then obviously we have our main coaching program, which is the mechanics of poker. There you can really excel and get the most out of your poker career. And then you have the master classes, in which you can really specialize in a specific spot. Like I said, these is more for the advanced players. We will continue to release these masterclasses throughout the year and even after, until we've covered all the spots. I'm already working on some updates for the mechanics of poker as well. The ideas that I have in my head would make the program huge, but at some point, you know, you have to say, okay, this is what we're going to release. But I still see some room for improvement there, as I will probably always do. So for the next years, I'll probably keep on releasing updates in there as well. We have a very nice active Discord community. We do a lot of live Q&As in which I can further shape my philosophy and make the program even better. Now, these vlogs will also become a returning thing here on YouTube. I have a couple of more in the making, and after they've released, we will kind of see where this is going. And as for my own poker career, I try to keep on making improvements and work smarter, combine things a little bit better. I still see some room for improvement. I've gathered a lot of information, and I will continue to gather a lot of information, look for inconsistencies in my game and in my decision-making process, and finding ways to resolve those. Usually what we do is we try to find ways around the problem. This is not really fixing the root cause. You have to kind of dig in, what is the root cause that leads me to be inconsistent in this area? Try to find that root cause and resolve it. Then the next step in our poker career is to add 5K. which I will probably do after the summer and after the academy has launched, as then the tasks in Poker Ambition will probably become a little bit more routine, so I can better schedule my time, which will make me perform more consistently and better at the tables. Also in my own poker career, I've made more progress than again, and then I think I'm definitely ready for the 5K tables. And from there we will kind of see where things are going. I think it's very important that when you set these kind of goals, like I want to play 5K, I want to play 10K, that you don't restrict yourself to a certain time that you have to make it. For example, I will go and play 5K or 10K when it's time or when I feel like I'm ready to play 5K or 10K. As soon as I start to rush or put time pressure on I have to play 5K or 10K within 3 months, a lot of stress can start to occur. For that I need to perform well, I need to also be winning. And then results or how I'm performing in my current session are suddenly becoming way more important, as there's now a time limit to it, which will lead me to way more tilted, which will lead me to be way less likely to actually reach 5K, 10K earlier than if I would set the goal that I have to reach it within 3 months. So are you putting too much pressure on yourself? That's what I'm asking you to reflect on. Because with this time pressure, it's way more likely that you will have a lot of negativity, which, you know, if we can believe the law of attraction, Joe Dispenza gang, is not very GTO. Okay, we're sending out wrong messages to the universe, guys. And then there's Twitch, which I'll continue growing just as the Poker Ambition brand. If you've never been at a Wakko show on Twitch, which I find it quite hard to believe, but if so, make sure to follow us on Instagram, join our Discord, or look at our Twitch channel in the calendar to see when I'm streaming, and join me in one of our next streams. Speaking about streaming, I'm actually about to start a stream right now, and I will show you guys a little bit what goes on behind the scenes of a Twitch stream. Maybe we should have actually bet it maybe a little bit smaller on the turn. I think my bet was a little bit too big, if we're gonna be picky. And guys, if you want to become the best, you know, you have to be picky. It's fine that you made the mistake, but try to strive to do better next time. Let's try a little funky 3-bet here with King 10 off. Low frequency, low frequency. We decided to do something funky, which I'm now actually catching myself saying very often. Usually the funky factor is a little bit higher on stream than off stream. We're gonna check raise with the jacks. It's a spot that he should definitely be careful stepping too much, as I will have the majority of nuts and future nuts. So usually from that point of view, he shouldn't put too much money in the pot, and I should put a lot of money in the pot. It's kind of how poker works. Pocket eights, we're gonna play it playing the flat call. For the people who don't know how the flat call works, I'll have Gavin explain it to you.
The next tip I want to tell you about is what I consider to be my strongest weapon in No Limit Texas Hold'em. It's called the flat call.
He bets pot, and I think we've been in similar situations. I think if we have like 4s, 5-4 suited, 6-7 suited, we're gonna get it in. 7s is a little bit close, but I do think it's the best play. So yeah, hope, jam and hope.
I think it's just time to ship it in and go to bed.
So I actually wanted to take a quick look at the hand that we just played on stream. We opened pocket 7s and we got through it by the big blind. We called pocket 7s and we faced a very big bet. Now, this is actually quite a common strategy for the out of position. In general, using big bets when you're the 3-bet out of position is a very big part of how that strategy generates high EV. Something that I explained in the masterclass. And now it's up to us. How are we going to proceed with our range? I think there's some interesting concepts here, so let's look it up. Now, if you like what I'm about to show you, click the link in the description below to get 10% off on your GTO wizard. And this way you can really help out the channel. To look it up, I'm gonna be using GTO Wizard, which is basically a web browsing solver, which we have decided to partner up with. I'm really excited for their software. They have a couple of really good functions. So we opened from the cutoff, the button folded, the small blind folded. As you can see in the description as well, you can see all the preflop ranges for free. So no more paying shit tons of money for preflop ranges. The big blind 3-bets, and we see that sevens is a pure defend as kind of expected. Usually when the pocket pairs get a little bit lower, they start to defend at a higher frequency. Deuces usually defends at the highest frequency. That's also because it doesn't open at a very high frequency. So we call, kind of as expected. Believe the flop was 3, 6, 5 rainbow. And we can actually indeed see that if we look at big sizings, in the GTO wizard, apparently there's an overbet, a half pot, or a small sizing, and we can see that bigger sizings in general are going to be most dominant. So betting small is definitely not highest EV. So we don't have a pot here, but let's look at the thing that is closest to pot, which is gonna be the 27, and I expect to see this. 8s is going to be a fold, 9s is often going to be a fold, and then 7s is going to be a call or a jam. This is because 7s still has a gutter, and we're kind of beating the same type of hands. Maybe if we have 9s, he sometimes also jams 9s, but I think he never has 8s. So basically 7s is 8s, only then with extra equity. So in these kind of situations, you usually want to play a hand for backup equity. You can also actually see that 10s, for example, is pure jamming. So the cutoff point is, I would say 10s. I think if you're just folding 9s in game, you'll be fine. But as you can see, 7s here, a pure jam. Now, always when we look into a solver, it's important to kind of look if your opponent reaches these kind of frequencies. In general, I would say on these boards, the intuitive bluffs like Jack 10 suited, 9 10 suited are quite easy to find. Here we can actually see that it's sometimes even potting pocket 8s, but it doesn't always 3-bet, it doesn't always pot, so I don't think it's something that we have to take in consideration all that often. Like even if it's betting 8s, we're folding 9s. So from his strategy, basically what he's doing is when he bets 8s, well, 7s is stacking, 8s and 9s are folding. So it's kind of a mergy type of play. Some advanced shit in this solve. Another option that I'm actually a very big fan of is the analyze your hands function. This is where you can export your hands from your database, upload it to GTO Wizard, and it will analyze and give you feedback on all the hands you played. So now we're going to find out, guys, how GTO is the Wakko really? So this is the analyze page in which you can upload your hands. So what I've done is I went to upload and I clicked files and I decided to upload a folder where I exported my session. And here we can see that GTO Wizard has now analyzed my session, and we can see that I made 94.5% correct plays, 5.5% wrong plays, and an average EV loss of 0.03, which actually isn't that bad. Then if you want to look at bigger blunders, so let's say, for example, we'll go to this one and we'll go to the hands. And here I will actually filter on EV loss. I want to see my bigger EV loss hands that I've played. Okay. So I'll filter here on EV loss. Let's go to my biggest blunder. It's a 5.7 BB blunder. And here on the right, we'll see the hand. Apparently I raised the button. Oh, I 3-betted from the small blind. It went check, 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 check. So I checked down King Jack. I actually remember this hand. I decided not to bluff because I was a little bit of a chicken. So the chicken song for the Wakko. You can clearly see that the solver prefers to play this hand in a bet, because here you can see that is definitely the line that has highest EV on the river, and it actually wants to bet 18. So it wants to bet like 3/4 of the pot. Probably actually also on the turn. On the turn, actually, it also wants to bet. So I played the hand wrong on multiple streets. So as we saw, I did jam and villain folded, and we picked up the pot. And I think the play is good due to the fold equity and due to the equity when called. So let's see if you can get a higher score than the Wakko. Go in the description down below and get 10% off on GTO Wizard subscription. So just finished an excellent stream. Really good vibes out there. I have to say, in the beginning, people who were saying about Twitch and stuff that it could be a very toxic environment with a lot of negativity. I have to say, haven't experienced anything of that. I have to say, all my Twitch streams so far, I've never had any negativity. Usually a lot of positive vibes, very supportive. So shout out to the Twitch following for always wishing me the best of lucks. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, guys, I wanted to thank you very much. I want you guys to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for future vlogs. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna chill at the balcony for a little bit. Gonna read myself some Art of War from my favorite Chinese general. Everyone has a favorite Chinese general, right? A high-ranking military general, strategist and tactician. Us poker players, we can definitely learn something from that. People here know that I'm a big fan of Sun Tzu. If you haven't read it or you have never ever seen anything of Sun Tzu, definitely go check that out. I wish you guys the best of luck at the tables, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Now, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Take a look at other videos that we've made. I'm sure you will like them as well. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And make sure to join our Discord community so you can stay up to date with new content, new promotions that we have running here at Poker Ambition. And if you want to know more about Poker Ambition and our services, go over to the site pokerambition.com. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.